the brother is here. Alice's brother Alphinaud has dropped officially last night. He's here with his level 70 EX. Now, I'm so used to saying that. No, he's here with his level 70 and 35 CP. It is strange to say. It really is strange to say. But, don't mind this. I did actually pull his 35 CP in 7 tickets. I figured, hey, screw it, why not? I would like to run him alongside Alice since I have Alice fully built up, for some fun runs and stuff. And lo and behold, gave me it in 70 tickets. Cries in the 60 I spent for Gilgamesh. Ignore that. I'm sorry, I love Gilgamesh. I had to at least try, okay? I had to try. I'm skipping. Anyway, so Alphinaud is here. But before we talk about Alphinaud, we got to talk about ydas, because ydas came out with her level 70 EX and rework. And I gotta say, it's a pretty impressive one. So with ydas, we'll start with her. Ydas got a rework to her, it was her 58 passive, or what, 54? 54 passive, sorry, which buff boost. Nothing extra special there, just moderately raises the max brave now. Snap punch now overflows up to 150%. It does way more damage, and it now gives her access to a brave attack plus and HP attack plus, which, after she uses those, either of those, the brave attack or HP attack plus, it gives her snap punch plus, which does even more damage and overflows up to 180%. Her touch of death, got an extra hit, which was really nice because there's only one hit before. More damage, more chance to poison, and I think it was overflow to 150 as well. I think, but this one doesn't go plus. It's just snap punch. But it's still a nice touch to the ability, touch of death. It's still a nice addition to the ability, lets you do more damage, increases the effects of the poison and everything, which is really nice, because for the longest, ydas was our poison-based character, and she ran really well alongside of Thancred, who Thancred does more damage when the enemy is poisoned. But with Thancred's rework, he can now do poison much better himself. So, ydas kind of been sitting on the bench. But now, if you need a good poison attacker, ydas is here, and she can do the job. There are going to be other characters who can still do the poison aspect just a little bit better than her, such as Thancred and Selphie. Because Selphie's EX on top of her poison is just absolutely dumb. Anyway, and then she got an EX, which is a 4-hit HP attack followed up by a single target 1-hit HP attack. And this ability does go plus. It has 180% overflow on the non-plus variant, and has a 200% overflow on the plus variant. And in order to get it to go plus, you need to use the EX ability, which gives her a new frame buff. It's kind of the standard, raises her attack and her max brave, but it only lasts until she uses her EX plus, her EX in its plus variant. When she uses it in its plus variant, it does go away, and she has to use her EX again in order to get it back to use the plus variant. So it's kind of, she has to keep using her EX in order to get the better version of it. But it is good because it is a very fast recharge speed at max limit break. So you're going to be using it quite often. So more often than not, you're going to be using it at its max potential. It just does kind of suck that it does revert back to a lesser form of the ability. But it's still a pretty good EX at that. Now, with all that said, do I think ydas rework is impressive? Absolutely. It is a thoroughly impressive rework. It gave her a lot of damage, and a lot of damage. That's pretty much what she needed, on top of a level 70, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what her C65 does. I'm pretty sure it does more damage and more overflow to debuff targets. But I'm pretty sure that's that. If not, someone feel free to correct me. I know it wasn't anything that was like super crazy outside of what we've seen so far. But yeah, what she did get was really impressive. But is she early chaos impressive? Unfortunately, it's going to be a no. The thing is with ydas is, while she does do a lot of damage now, the only way to actually really make her early chaos viable is to build your team around her, you know, making sure she can do what she can do, you know. And that's not per se the hardest thing in the world, but for chaos, you don't really want to make anyone the main focus of the team. You need a competent, you need a team comp that's going to work and mesh together to take down the boss. And that's the thing with ydas. Unfortunately, she does need the extra support to make it so, you know, she is, you know, doing what she's meant to do. While she did get impressive damage buffs, and with her snap punch plus and everything, she's going to be getting near the cap of that, you know, really impressive 180% overflow. It's unfortunately just not enough, you know. Whereas, like, we have other characters, other damage dealers who are going to be coming out around the same time who can do just a little more than ydas than just pressing for damage. For example, when when that era does drop, we're going to have Cloud, who could provide stuns and launches. We're going to have Garland, who could provide delays, debuffs, and massive overflow with multi-hitting EXs and stuff like that. So, while what she did get is thoroughly impressive, and honestly, I'm going to say she's probably one of the more impressive characters for this month, and by far one of the best characters to finish out the rest of Cosmos. She's got incredible stuff for the Cosmos era. Unfortunately, she's going to be put back up on the bench when Chaos does roll around. But you know what? For what she did get, please use her. Go ahead and use her. I think she's an absolutely fantastic character, especially after this rework. Do I think the banner is worth it to pull on right now? Personally, no. I don't really think it's worth it to, like, drop everything. But that's just me. I mean, like, this banner, it's not a Gilgamesh banner. It's not. What you'll be getting out of this is two relatively good characters that you can use and have some fun with. So if you feel the need to drop some gems and tickets on the banner, by all means, go ahead. And if ydas or Alphinaud is a favor, dig deep into this banner. Go ahead. I do think there is a better time to pull. Excuse me. I do think there is a better time to pull for ydas EX when it comes out alongside Alphinaud's EX Plus later down in the future. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. But early chaos viable, it's situational. I'll say that. She's situational because you need to build around her in order to get her to work. So I'm ultimately going to say no because of basically what I said before. You need the team comps in order to be able to take this down. And we're going to be getting damage dealers coming out in the future that could do pretty much just a lot more than what ydas can do. And now let's talk about the main man of the banner himself. Like I said, ignore this because he'll be built relatively soon. I pulled this 35 CP like 20 minutes ago. But yeah, so Alphinaud, Alphinaud is much like Paladin Cecil. He is a jack of all trades, master of none. And what I mean when I say that is he gets a specific frame buff called the Moonstone, where depending on the value of his brave, he applies different effects to the party. So, for example, I gotta do my hardest to remember these numbers. So, I'm gonna basically like sugarcoat it, you know, kind of as best as I can to just get through this part because I'm awful at remembering numerical values. But you'll understand. You'll get the gist of it. So pretty much, if his brave is 80% less than his initial brave, he applies a 100% a brave regen based off 100% of initial brave. If his brave is anywhere between 80% of his initial brave and 80% of his max brave, he applies a I believe it's a max brave buff. And then when his brave is over 80% of his max brave, he applies a damage buff. I could be completely fucking wrong with this. Like, but you understand the gist. Like, depending on, like, the values of his brave, that's what you'll be getting out of the Moonstone ability, which is really cool. And then his ability, Summon Moonstone, applies a brave battery to the party while reapplying the Moonstone buff, which only lasts for 5 turns, by the way. The unfortunate thing about the Moonstone is, though, it will go away when broken. So you have to make sure that Alphinaud is not getting broken to get the best out of him, to make sure he is supplying the party with what he's trying to offer. His second attack, I forget what it's called, but it's a relatively decent attack. It overflows up to 120%. It raises everyone's brave, and it does heal. I don't remember the numerical value. Shoot me, okay, please. I don't remember the numerical value, but he does heal the party. I'm pretty sure it's based off of the damage that he deals, which is really nice. You know, it's a nice feature to have. You know, he has what's called an off healer ability, and then when the Moonstone buff is active on his head, he gets a Brave attack plus and an HP attack plus. They changed the specific names, but I don't really remember what they do, what their names are. His HP attack plus will actually heal as well, and his Brave attack plus will actually Brave battery the party. So what Alphinaud brings to the table, he sounds like Paladin Cecil, does he not? The only difference that he has between him and Paladin Cecil is that he doesn't have an EX right now, which is really unfortunate because that does affect his longevity. While he does have crazy good longevity alongside that Moonstone ability, in a sense, it's really not, because he only has those Brave attack and HP attack pluses when he has the Moonstone buff above his head. And every time he does take a turn, one turn of that Moonstone buff is going away. So technically, it's pretty much just giving him additional ability uses, because the Summon Moonstone doesn't do any damage. While it is nice because the Summon Moonstone doesn't take up a turn count, has no action delay, so you use it, he can go again immediately. It's pretty much just giving him 2 additional skill usages, 2 additional skills that you can just use, versus, you know, having the 2 regular skills and an HP attack and Brave attack plus. So it's not technically adding to his longevity, because in hindsight, you're getting 25 turns of Moonstone if you don't get broken. You're getting 25 turns of Moonstone. And if you can't finish the boss within that 25 turns of Moonstone, well, Alphinaud's kind of sitting on his butt. You know what I mean? So he's one of those things where he's exactly as I mentioned. He's a master of all. He's a jack of all trades, master of none. He applies a bunch of different things for the party, and he has good utility and good support. But when it comes to the specific things that he offers, there are other characters, specifically other 35 CP characters, Freya, who just does what he does better. Freya, in just one buff, applies HP regen and a Brave regen, while she can push for damage, and Alphinaud just kind of can't. Especially with his, and both of his HP attack and Brave attack pluses, they don't do any overflow, and his second ability only does 120% overflow, so he's not really doing much damage, which is kind of unfortunate. Hell, even Lulu, who we've got like way beforehand, like way before even the Cosmos era, can still do pretty much kind of what he does a little bit better. She applies a small Brave regen, and she applies a max Brave buff to the party, and she just pushes for a hell of a lot more damage, and she supports the party with more damage with the Fire Imperil and the Fire Enchant. So he's most definitely, in the words of QE, he's most definitely not a 35 CP legend. And is he early Chaos viable? Absolutely not. He is not early Chaos viable at all. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have the damage. He just doesn't have, he doesn't have the turns and, you know, the ability usages to really get through it. And the fact that the Summon Moonstone will go away if you get broken, yeah, that's a no-go right there. Unless you're going to bring him alongside Warrior of Light every single fight, you got to be really careful. You have to go on the defensive with him. And if you bring him to a Chaos fight, there is no guarantee that you're going to be safe from a break, even though your max Brave is really high. They do a lot of damage. They will hurt you. And if you don't have Warrior of Light alongside of him, or even someone like Zac, but Zac isn't going to fully save him, because if they do an AoE attack, then, you know, you have to play defensively. But if you play defensively, you're wasting turns, and you're wasting your Moonstone. So, Alphinaud, he is by no means a bad character. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad character. You know, he's actually a really relatively good character. You know, you could put him together, you could have a lot of fun with him. It's just right now it is really, really unfortunate he didn't come out with an EX, because what he got with his EX Plus on the JP side is wild. It adds so much to him. It gives him so much more longevity. He just gets the damage that he was lacking and everything. So it's a real shame he didn't come out with this EX. I would have more, honest to God, I would have preferred him to drop with his EX, and we got ydas EX a little later down the road, and maybe like an Awakening batch or something like that. That's just how I see it. That's how I feel it should have been, you know. But it is what it is. Alphinaud, absolutely not for early chaos. Just being a 35 CP character, unfortunately, is just not. It's not going to cut it. When that chaos rolls around with EX Plus, where you gotta have those EXs, man. You have to have those EXs to provide the longevity to the party. So it's a no for Alphinaud. Situational. Ultimately a no for ydas. Unfortunately, both these characters just, in my eyes, aren't really early chaos viable. And like I said, there's a better time to pull for them. But if you want to pull for them now, I'm not gonna stop you. Personally, you know, they're both really good characters, and they're both a lot of fun to play. So if you want to pull for them now, by all means. Like I said, I feel there's a better time to pull for them in the future. So good luck to your pulls if you're pulling now. It's a no for both Alphinaud and ydas, but that does not mean they're bad characters by any means. So thanks for watching, guys. Next up is probably going to be Noel, because he drops out this Wednesday with the new story chapters and the new Kickstart banner, which I'm super excited to do a multi on, even though I have all three of those EXs. It's going to be Cloud, Lightning, and Squall. As like a jump start banner, you get like a free multi and everything. And I just like getting Power Stones. I have all three of those characters built up, so it's really not much of a thing for me, but I like Power Stones, you know, who doesn't? But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.